Nika Belianina, and I'm a filmmaker based in Toronto. And this is my guest, Angela, who also based in Toronto, part Mississauga as well, right?
Yeah.
So what we're doing, I'm hosting talks nearly daily at 5 p.m. with different inspiration people from different towns and even countries to help us get through this COVID-19 quarantine that affects us globally. And I'm so happy and so excited to talk with Angela.
So many years ago, maybe over 5 years ago, I had a concussion on set. And after I started going through a lot of depression and anxiety, and all of a sudden one day I started doodling and it just came alive. It was as if I was meant to be an artist, as if my soul was supposed to be an artist. So at that point, I had a hard time expressing what I felt into words. I couldn't really make up sentences. I had a hard time reading a sentence. I had a hard time listening. But when I could put colors together and textures, it just was able to express what I felt inside. It's hard to explain, but it's as if the colors and textures took over my words and I was able to talk again through these colors and textures. So that's how I became an artist about 5 years ago. And I've been promoting mental well-being for artists, musicians, poets, just through my Facebook and social media and online. I just think it's important to tune into your emotions and talk about what you're feeling. I think a lot of us are scared to talk about depression and anxiety because we might be judged by our peers, mainly our coworkers, and you may not be hired again. But I think it's important because once you start the conversation, it's a ripple effect right now, especially during these self-isolation periods.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. And today you have a very interesting thing for us to do. You're during this COVID-19. Yes, this is so exciting. You started doing a thing called creating art every day. And you're doing it with everyday objects and things like that.
I create art every day, and I started a YouTube channel called Make Something Every Day, and it's just using recycled materials around the house. And I take requests. So the next one will actually be thank you cards. I've created a bunch, and it's for our frontline workers, nurses, doctors, bus drivers, so that when we are allowed to go out, we can give them a thank you note. So that was a request from a follower. I started creating coloring pages for everyone. I posted on my Facebook page and my Instagram page, and people can just request it, and I can send them a printable page if they don't know how to download the image. So I usually create them first thing in the morning. I call it mindful mornings. So it's a time where my mind can just release itself and just create without thinking and without turning on the TV. So I'm taking quotes and sayings that people are having online. So this one is called Quarantine.
Would you say you're more extrovert or more introvert?
I think I am more introvert. The concussion has made me a little bit more shy and held towards myself because I'm afraid of people judging me. We're going to do a watercolor tutorial on how to paint watercolor flowers. And I've done this on my YouTube video, but we're going to do it together today.
Let's do this. Let's do this. You don't have to have paint right away, guys. You just watch and observe artists in action, and so you can start applying these skills and tips and ideas later on. Let's see what's that all about. I always had interest in watercolor because it looks simple, but it could be also a little bit intimidating for those who never know how to paint. So can you navigate us a little bit through your process? Do you start usually with the idea, or do you start with color? What is first?
I usually just choose the color first. Right now, just what you've seen, the blue roses. I'm just going to use the selection of blues that I have. And in watercolor, it's important to layer. So just go really lightly, and then you can always come back for more.
What does layering in watercolor give besides mixing colors? That's my understanding, because I'm not a painter, I am a photographer and filmmaker. So what would that do?
Layers of watercolors just means pretty much adding water. Like if you see over here, it's a very muted blue, and over here is the darkest blue. So you start off with the lightest color with a lot of water.
So once you realize that art is becoming your way of dealing with concussion, did you start learning about art, or it just came all naturally to you?
Um, A lot of people have said that my art style is like this artist and this artist, but I don't really like to look into it. I really don't want to be influenced because I feel like my emotions are valid and for what I feel and what I express and what I paint is just me. I don't want to be somebody else. So I would say a lot of it just came naturally. So I just played around until I felt comfortable and confident.
Do you use different amount of water for that? I would imagine.
I just keep dipping until I'm happy. Like if you want a lighter blue, then you can add more water, and if you don't want more blue, then you can just keep adding colors from your paint palette.
Once you create artwork, let's say you mentioned a piece called Anxiety, would you say that feeling diminishes or disappears from your life, or is it a temporary relief? Can you talk about that?
I think for me, overall art is a temporary relief. It's like so I don't have to go to the therapist right away. So once I paint it, if I'm feeling anxiety or depression, then pretty much I just come right here to the basement, my gallery, and I start painting. And usually after I'm done the piece, it does disappear. It's really miraculous. I don't know how to explain it other than it is my therapy, and it may work for others and it may not. But that's definitely what I do.
Hmm. And how long would you say, like, because I'm watching you painting right now, and I'm not a painter, and I would worry that I'm not going to have good results right away. How long did it take you to start getting where you're excited or happy with your work?
You should really just be happy with yourself in the first place. Remember that when you're creating art, you're not creating a masterpiece. Like I'm not here in my gallery to create a masterpiece. My goal is to create better mental health for myself. This makes me happy. This makes me feel better about everything. So that is my goal. And I think when you have a goal like that, then everything will follow. I'm done the leaves. It didn't take that long. I didn't really get to explain it, but all it is pressure. So you push the brush down and then it gets fat and then you lift it up. So this one is going to be little ones, little leaves. And you'll see how everything is brought together
Do
just
you
by
have do you have at this point the idea how it's going to look at the end, or you go with the flow?
um I don't think I have an idea. I think for me I've always just created and it just happens. Like
Hmm. There's a wonderful comment here. So relaxing to watch you create. I
thank
This is why it's so therapeutical. You're just focusing on one thing that does not require you to think about all this other external noise, and you're just focusing on being in the moment. And I think this is the beauty of art. When you allow yourself to be in the moment, it just clears your mind and calms you down very much.
absolutely. Yeah, I think that's for all type of arts, not just visual arts. I think musicians also have a way to exit life and create, and same with writers and poets. I think it's all important for us to find our own hobby, especially in these times of self-isolation, and just let our mind flow. It's okay to feel what we're feeling. Just write it down, draw it out, write a piece of music.
Yeah, I used to study psychology actually back in Russia, and that was absolutely advice that was given over and over again. Don't hold it in, just get it out. Get it out on any way possible, hopefully very positive way, like creating art first and foremost, instead of flashing out at people, because then it's not going to be growing inside of you. You're just going to be a more leveled person because you're not holding things in and piling them up on top. You're releasing them as they come. Do you
You
have a
are
name for this work that you're doing here right now? Or when does the naming come?
actually what I do for naming is a little bit different. I usually take a look at the piece and I create about a 3-line poem.
So they're all
That's,
haiku then. That's very interesting.
I guess, yeah, you're right, you're right.
How did that come about?
I think I was influenced a lot by my creative collaborator, Susan, um, who really helped me flow with my words. I've never been great with words, but I think she was a big influence and she sort of guided me along the way, and I was able to create and write and, in a way, take that energy and make it my own.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I think it's important to speak to other artists from different disciplines and to interact with them constantly because you can always get re-inspired by what they're doing, be it music, photography, sculpture, fabric, tactile arts, no matter what. That's why I think artist residencies are such a fantastic outlet because that's when you can just experience each other's art, and it could be even the same theme, but completely different approaches and completely different genres.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great to collaborate, and from there, like a new energy is created when different people come together from different backgrounds. Like when we created our pieces, it was a performance experience piece, and we had small groups when we performed our art and poetry with the chakra music. It was magical. I can't explain the feeling that I had other than it was pure euphoria. And I think a lot of people felt the same way during our performance experience. So I think you're right. It's great to collaborate with other people because you actually might learn something about yourself that you didn't know, or you might learn a little bit about a different kind of art, like music or poetry.
Absolutely, absolutely. Would you say floral are the frequent theme in your art, or what would be the frequent themes in general?
No, definitely not. I don't think floral is, I just do it for fun, just like this. I think my main theme and my main style is abstract art. I really enjoy because I feel like I can express myself the way I want to through the different colors. Just because there is no rhyme or reason to choose this color. Whereas if you were to do floral and portraiture, it would look a little bit weird if a person was green or something, unless that's your style.
People can also check out your videos about creating something new every day. And they can also look at them, can I call them mandalas?
Yeah,
The coloring. There's a wonderful coloring pieces that Angela created that you can just download and doodle yourself and go crazy.
absolutely.
Anywhere you want. This is Angela just created piece in front of our eyes. How would you call this?
Uh, just a few blue roses. I actually haven't named it. I have to think about it a bit more. And I have that exact same tutorial on there, and I create something pretty much every single day. And shortly to come, we'll be making thank you cards for our frontline workers, and I'm going to do a tutorial on how you can make the masks. And because there's a shortage right now, and a lot of retirement homes and nursing homes are in need of these masks. So it'd be great to show everyone how to make it, and maybe we can all take our time and some fabric and donate some masks to the retirement homes.
That is fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Angela, for having us here today and talking about your fantastic art.